Hello everyone, welcome to Rini Vibes. I want to say a very thank you to you all for sticking with me throughout my long break. And then to those of you who joined in recently, I want to say thank you so much. If today is your very first time on this channel, you are very much welcome. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and share. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you tips on how to communicate effectively the elegant way. Now, believe it or not, communication is an essential part of our lives that will go a long way to help you enrich the quality of your relationships as well as your entire life. This channel is about everything lifestyle, so we are going to vibe about communication, love, food, fun, manners, everything. Alright, so let's get into today's video. The very first tip on my list on how to communicate effectively the elegant way is pay attention to your tone of voice. Now, your tone of voice determines a great deal on how effectively you're communicating, and it also determines a great deal on actually the kind of response you get. So, for example, if I want to get, or perhaps I'm going out with a friend and he or she is delaying and I want to tell the friend to hurry up, so my tone of voice, so this is a perfect example. I tell my friend that, will you hurry up so that we get going before we get late? My tone of voice. Or I could also say, can you kindly hurry up so that we don't get late? So you get to see the difference, okay, the range. That is what I'm talking about. So your tone of voice goes a very long way in how you communicate, and it also goes a very long way to determine the kind of response you get. Sometimes your tone of voice might not even mean that you're angry or perhaps you're being brash or something, but determine on how you say it gets you the kind of feedback that you may not want. All right, so please pay attention to your tone of voice when you're communicating so that you get to communicate effectively the elegant way. The second tip on my list on how to communicate effectively the elegant way is do not raise the sound of your voice when you're communicating. My goodness, it makes you look bush, it makes you look mannerless. All right, so if you want to communicate effectively, raising your voice, the sound of your voice when you're communicating effectively, or you want to communicate effectively, will not make you being heard. All right, so please don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, you can actually talk in a very soft manner, in a very mild way, and still communicate effectively. All right, so for example, someone approaches you, okay, and makes a comment or tells you something that didn't go down well with you, and you go like, don't talk to me like that. Why are you talking to me like that? I don't like that. I mean, don't do that. Don't do that, okay? That makes you look very brash, like I said earlier on. Okay, so what you can say is, I didn't like the way you spoke to me, or I didn't like what you said to me. It didn't go down well with me. Next time, I'd appreciate you do this, you do that. That makes you a very elegant person, and in the long run, you communicate effectively. In fact, the person is going to be very shy about the whole situation. All right, the third tip on my list on how to communicate effectively the elegant way is pace your words and avoid the use of fillers. All right, so fillers are what we normally do when I wanted to do this, no, don't do that. Don't do that. It doesn't make you communicate effectively. Pacing your words actually helps you put your thought together before you speak it out of your mouth. All right, so that it won't look as if you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know what you're about, you don't even know what you're saying, like your thoughts are not collectively put together. All right, so pacing your words helps you to put your thoughts together so that before you open your mouth to talk, people know that this person knows exactly what he or she is saying. All right, and it helps you to avoid the use of fillers. So you go to your friend and guys are gisting, you've not put your thoughts together, you open your mouth, you're just talking like, really, the other time when I went there, and the guy and he didn't know. You don't do that. You don't do that. Okay, that doesn't make you look elegant at all in any way, and it doesn't make you communicate effectively. So pace your words. Okay, so that takes me to the fourth point, or the fourth tip on my list on how to communicate effectively the elegant way. All right, so the fourth tip on my list on how to communicate effectively the elegant way is pay attention to your manner of approach. My goodness, paying attention to your manner of approach goes a very long way on the kind of response you get. So I have a very perfect example for this one. So for example, perhaps the previous day you have communicated to your dad on getting something new for the house or getting something new for yourself, and you want to remind your daddy on the kind of conversation you have had previously on getting you whatever it is he has to get you. Then example, you go like, Daddy, don't forget that thing when you're coming. No, don't forget my shoe. Let's say it's a shoe. Don't forget my shoe when you're coming. No, I'll be expecting it. You don't do that. You're not communicating effectively. Do you actually think that your father will get you the shoe? No. I mean, communicating effectively the elegant way will go like, Daddy, please don't forget the shoe you actually decided to buy for me, you know, the one we talked about, when you are coming. It doesn't take anything away from you. All right, so your manner of approach determines a long way on the kind of response you get. All right, so please pay attention to your manner of approach when you want to communicate effectively. How you go about it determines how the person on the receiving end is going to take it. So to my next tip on how to communicate effectively the elegant way is, don't tap and hit your listeners. Don't tap and hit your listeners. Okay, you know, sometimes when you're in a social gathering and you're gisting with your friends and the gist is nice and sweet, okay, you end up tapping and hitting, you know, and you keep doing that. No, it's not an elegant thing to do. It's not a nice thing to do at all. In fact, it doesn't help you communicate elegantly and effectively. All right, you know, you keep doing that, and sometimes you find yourself in a social gathering, and perhaps the person sitting by you is not your friend, it's a total stranger, and because you are used to hitting, you see that thing, oh my god, you also believe it, you don't, no. It's not a nice thing to do. So please avoid hitting and tapping your listeners when you're communicating. Okay. All right, to my next tip, my last but one, limit your hand gestures. Okay, you know how some people will be communicating and they're all over your face with their hand gestures? Oh, I said no, don't be communicating in that manner. All right, I am one person that communicates a lot with my hand, especially my left, because I'm left-handed. Okay, but that's okay, you know, like this is fine. But then some people go overboard and they're all over the place here, and they're training their hands to your face. That's not the best thing to do when you want to communicate effectively. In fact, you take the person's attention from whatever it is you want to communicate, and it doesn't make you look elegant in any way. It makes you look as if you don't even know what you're talking about. You're trying to put your thoughts together here and there. All right, so please limit your hand gestures when you're communicating. All right, okay, so to my very last tip on how to communicate effectively the elegant way is improve upon your vocabulary. All right, don't be saying the same thing for a very long time. Improve upon your vocabulary, and one of the ways you can improve upon your vocabulary is reading a lot. Okay, and then when you're watching the news, sometimes be listening to the sentences the newscasters are making. Okay, if they are good ones, be picking them up. When you're watching a movie, don't just concentrate on the entertainment bit. All right, be picking one or two sentences out of it. Okay, so improve your vocabulary. It helps you communicate effectively the elegant way and it makes you on top of issues. It makes you feel nice about yourself. All right, so let me give you an example of improving upon your vocabulary. So for instance, somebody wants you to do something for him or her, okay, and then you don't want to. So someone will say, I'm not interested, I don't want to do it. You could actually say, I'm indifferent to it. All right, it means I'm not interested, I'm indifferent, I don't want to do it, I don't want to go, I don't want to get involved, I'm indifferent. Sorry. All right, it puts you on top of your game. It makes you feel good about yourself. All right, so improve upon your vocabulary so that you can feel confident when you're communicating, and it helps you communicate effectively and in an elegant way. So I hope you've learned a thing or two. This brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Please kindly subscribe, leave a comment, and share. See you in my next video. Until then, get good, get better, and be the best. I love you all.